on this computer. Is it recording? Yes. Now I can go ahead and play it again from there. Perfect. All right. So my story. I know many of you guys are new and some of you guys are oldies but goodies and may have heard my story before, or maybe some of you signed up from the sneak peek that we had into coaching, and so you've heard maybe a small bit of my story, but that was also the 6-minute professional, edited story that Beachbody kind of put together after interviewing me rather than like my full story. So I wanted to jump in and kind of share that with everybody so you guys can all see that like I was a new coach at one point. I started this business just like all of you, scared as hell, like what the hell am I doing here? I am not fit enough. I have no idea how to run my own business. And I said I would never do this. So that's where I started. I actually, and this is my before and after picture. So this is my picture from 2013, and that was before I started Insanity. And Insanity is the first program that I started with. But let me give you a little bit of backstory. So Ryan and I actually were a little bit familiar with Beachbody programs back in the day because he was working for Enterprise at the time. He was a manager, and he was working about 12-hour days and then would come home, grab his bag to go to the gym, and then he would leave for like another hour and a half, 2 hours, and go to the gym. And so I was like frustrated at the time, wondering when we were ever going to see each other. That's great that you want to be fit and healthy, but like it's annoying that you're never home. And at the same time, he was always watching the P90X infomercial on TV. Like every single time it was on TV, Ryan Crocker was glued to the TV and watching it like it was like his favorite movie. And I don't blame him because like the before and after pictures are addictive. And now I don't know if you guys are anything like me, but like Beachbody stuff comes on TV and I'm still like, I need to get that. And I have it. So I finally said to him, I was like, order it. And so he did. And at the same time, I was like, well, I'll order something too. Like, it just makes sense. If you're going to be home working out, I'll work out as well. And I thought that by ordering something that I would actually do it and that I would actually get results. So I ordered Turbo Fire because I thought that it just looked like the most fun thing ever. And Shalene was amazing. And I got the program and I would start it and stop it and start it and stop it. I would get a week or two in and then I would injure myself and I would stop for a few weeks, or I would just fall off the wagon on the weekend. And then I would be like, I have to start all over again. I think the furthest I got in it was like 6 weeks. And while I had some results, they weren't great because I still was eating like crap and I was still drinking like every weekend and doing whatever the hell I wanted to. And so, I didn't really get the results I wanted, but Ryan was getting incredible results with P90X. And he was getting such great results that he was in, I think like a Facebook forum, like a Facebook group or something at the time. And that's where he met Chris Reed. And Chris said to Ryan, he messaged him one day out of the blue and was just like, hey, like, have you ever considered coaching? And Ryan was like, I don't know what that is. And Chris never wrote him back. So, word to the wise, follow up with people. But
not never.
Chris. But the thing is there, and here's a really important part of that story, is what he did at that moment. Ryan didn't obviously sign up right away because he didn't follow up with him. And to be honest with you, I think had Chris followed up with him at the time, I don't know that he would have signed up anyway. But he planted that seed. And so you can't ever like really go wrong by inviting somebody, even if you do it imperfectly. So what happened is that later on, Ryan was laid off from his job. Or no, he wasn't laid off. Actually, he quit. He quit his job. And I was sitting at my desk and get the news that Ryan had quit his job. It was also like election day and I was like pissed about the election. So I was pissed about the election. I was pissed about Ryan quitting his job. I was like, great, now I'm the sole breadwinner. I make like a third of the amount of money that Ryan does. We were on his health insurance. He was the one, he had a company car, and I'm sitting there going, oh my God, what the hell are we going to do? Right. And so, as we're sitting there and talking, I'm following Janelle Summers. And Janelle Summers is a coach in the network. She's actually Shalene Johnson's sister. And she was in the Turbo Fire videos. And I had started following her on Facebook because I was like, that woman has incredible legs, and whatever she is doing, I want to do. So, I mean, it can't just be doing the workouts, right? Like, it can't just be following the plan that like I bought and doing it to a T. It must be something else. So I started following her, and she would post about like her nutrition and things like that every once in a while, which was cool. But one day she went on there and she posted that somebody on her team went emerald. And I was like, I have no idea what that even means. And I wrote to Ryan and I said, you know, what the hell does that mean? She has somebody on her team that went emerald. I'm like, is she like doing Amway or some sort of business like that? Because I had no clue that Beachbody had a business to it, a coaching side of it. Even though I watched TurboFire however many times, and on the end of every single one, it started talking about like Shakeology and your Wowie Super Gym and like all this other weird stuff and like contact your coach. I had no idea. And so when I had messaged Ryan that, he did a little bit of research and he found that, yes, Beachbody is a business that you could become a coach and you can help other people with their health and fitness. And within that, he also remembered Chris messaging him. And so he, I think, messaged you, and then like you guys got on a phone call or something like that. And Ryan decided to become a coach. So when I got home, I was like, that's great for you. I want nothing to do with it. And at the time I was working in social media and SEO. And so I had all of these ideas. I was like, okay, cool. I'll help you create like a website and a blog and like all this other jazz and like whatever. And I remember listening to Ryan's first, like, you know, his like getting started right call with Chris. And like, you know, and I was just like, oh, that's great for you, but I want no part of this. So there are a few different reasons why I wanted no part of this business. One was because clearly, as you can see on the picture on the left, I was overweight. But more so, it was just that I was miserable. I was very depressed. I had just gone through a very rough time in my life. My dad had passed away. I had lost my job. My grandmother had gotten sick. I had all of these things going on that caused me to be depressed and like start emotionally eating. And I just couldn't get out of that. I was depressed. I was tired. I was sad. I was frustrated. And, you know, the idea of being involved in any sort of MLM, I already had all the preconceived notions about of like, ew, you have to be salesy. Like all your friends gonna want to like unfriend you and run away from you when they see you. Like, you know, I just don't want anything to do with it. And so Ryan didn't ever force me to become a coach in the terms of like forcing me to coach. But I did come home after seeing a couple friends do Insanity on Facebook. You know, they'd been doing it. They kept posting that they were doing their workouts together. They kept talking about like the results that they were getting. And so I came home and I had just reached that point where like I had stepped on the scale and I'd seen that I was 197 pounds. And at 5'7", I was like, I should not be 197 pounds. I'm depressed. My life sucks right now. I'm working at a job that I like, but it's like, do I really picture myself doing this the rest of my life? I'm never going to be making the money that I want to do what I want to do. Like something's got to change. I have to do something to make myself happier. And so I said to Ryan, well, I had talked to our friends that day and I said, do you think I could do Insanity? And they were like, absolutely. They're like, just take a break when you need to, get right back in there. If you do it and you do it to a T, you'll get the best results of your life. And so I kept replaying that through my head while I did the program. And I came home and I told Ryan, I was like, okay, I want this program Insanity. And he was like, all right, you're going to do Shakeology too. And I was like, okay, fine. And then he was like, you're going to sign up as a coach because that's what Chris said you have to do. And I was like, great, I don't want to coach. And he was like, no, here, just go to this page. And literally walked me through the website and signed me up as a coach, even though I said I didn't want to be signed up as a coach. And I remember after I put my credit card info in and everything like that, I literally slapped the laptop shut, walked away from him and said, are you happy? And that was how I officially became a coach, right? So I had no intentions of coaching whatsoever. I got my program in the mail. And like I said, I did it and I did it to a T. I did Insanity every day. For 60 days, I followed that calendar. And I X'd off every single day on the calendar. And the more I X'd off, the more I felt accountable. The more I was like, okay, well, you did 7 days in a row. Don't F up the 8th day. Like you did, 20 days in a row. Don't like stop now. And there were times in that workout where I wanted to quit. I wanted to cry. I did cry. Like if anybody has ever done insanity, you know that day 1 of month 2 is just like, it's like somebody literally killed you. Like they make you do the fit test where you push as hard as you can for 20 minutes, followed by an hour-long insanity workout. And I was like, oh my God. But that saying just kept running through my head. If you do this and you do it to a T, you'll get the best results of your life. Just take a break when you need to. So I literally would just like, if I couldn't go any further, I would stop, I would breathe, I would count to 10, and I would just get right back in and modify or do whatever I could, but keep moving. And within those 60 days, I lost 30 pounds and I lost 27 inches off my body. But more importantly, I literally changed. I changed physically, I changed mentally, I changed emotionally. And insanity really taught me that like I could push forward and I could do whatever I wanted. Like I had the stamina, it was all in my mind. Like I could do it. And within that change, I also was open to other things and new things. And so other things were brought into my life. Gabby Bernstein being one of them. And if you've ever read Spirit Junkie or any of her books, like she is freaking incredible, but it's all about removing fear and all of these blocks that you've put up and created these obstacles in your life to the things that you want. And so I started reading Gabby. So not only was I emotionally, physically, and mentally changing, I was also spiritually changing all at the same time. And it all kind of happened at once. And then Ryan and I booked a flight out to California. We went to a friend's wedding. And at that wedding, everybody that we hadn't seen in forever was like, oh my God, you look so good. What have you been doing? There are people asking me that were interested in doing the same program that had fitness goals. On top of that, they were noticing it wasn't just physical. They were noticing that I had more confidence. I had more energy. I was happier. I was a better person to be around all around. I was more positive. And so with those changes, like I came home and I just said to Ryan, I kind of get it. And he was like, what's that? And I'm like, I get it. This is a little bit different. Like you change from the inside out. Other people are noticing those changes. Other people want those changes. And so this business is a little different. And like, it may be worth it for me to leave my comfort zone if I can help just like one person feel as good as I do now. And so we got on the phone with Chris, and Chris kind of told me his story about how he was a cop for 17 years and he retired and he's home with his family and his wife is retired. And, for those of you who don't know Chris Reed, he's on the call right now. He's my coach and all around badass Million Club member. And so listening to him and him telling me like what to do, he's smiling because he's like, oh, look at all the good things that she's saying about me. Anyway, but he literally just said, if you do this and you do this right, it'll change your life. And, he had what I wanted. Right. So I was like, I will do whatever you tell me to do. Literally those words came out of my mouth. I will do whatever you tell me to. And so the first thing I had to do was put up a photo and a post, and I fought him on it. So I'm all in and I'll do whatever you tell me to do, but literally got in an argument with Ryan and told him he just wanted me to post my before and after picture because he wanted to make money off of me. I was not comfortable putting up my before and after photo. I had, again, all of these fears, but eventually I just was like, okay, I said I would do whatever it takes, and it was okay for me to be uncomfortable. And that person that I'm showing isn't the person I am now. And I talked myself through it and I put it up. And that post had almost 200 likes on it, and it had so many comments on it, and it was all love. It was all so much love coming at me and so much positive energy and people who wanted my help. And within my first challenge group, I had 60 people in that group. And I went diamond, I think, in 54 days of this business. And then I went 1 star within a couple months. And then I went 5-star within 6 months. And I ended my first year in this business as a 6-star elite coach. And I quit my job after 6 months. I quit my job after 6 months because when I was looking at my paycheck each week, it was matching my paycheck of what I was making at my current job. And I was like, why the hell am I going to stay here when if I could grow this quickly to this, what if I left and I could do this full time? How fast could I grow that? And guys, I wasn't miserable at my job. I actually enjoyed my job quite a bit. And I remember in the very beginning telling Chris that I probably wouldn't quit my job, that I'd probably keep it because like I did enjoy it. And he said, I dare you to make it an option and then go from there. And so hi, Cody Reed. And so then I did. I made it an option. And from there, it was like, see ya. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I did that. Does that sound good? Okay, cool. Next. All right. So here are some of the basics, you guys. And this is what the basics are about. Like, what I did to grow my business was not anything crazy, and it's not anything that you can't do. And that is the most beautiful part about this business, is it is 100% duplicatable. Like, I can literally hand you a map and say, here's the freaking treasure, and you'll get there as long as you do this, this, and that. And so the problem sometimes lies in the fact that, we're people, so we don't really listen at first, or sometimes we're not really coachable, or sometimes we have fear that gets in the way and makes it so that we're not actually doing the steps, right? But I'm going to give you the steps, okay? So power hour every day. What does that mean? So what that means is you take at least an hour every day to do the basic things of this business. So friend 5 new people. So I say friend 5 new people on Facebook and follow like 5 to 10 new people on Instagram. Okay. Start 5 new conversations. I would say that these are like your hey girl conversations. These are like your, hey girl, you popped up in my news feed today and I saw that you just got your hair done and it looks freaking awesome. How have you been? That's it. You're not starting these conversations with the thought in mind of like, I'm going to turn this person into a coach right now. You're doing it with the thought of, I'm going to build a new relationship and potentially get a friend right now. And from that, if it leads to them wanting to be in my challenge group or me being able to help them or, in any way, that's awesome. You're going to follow up with every single person who likes your posts. With every single person who likes your post. Like, how many people are on this call right now because they like to post of mine? I bet a lot of you are on there because you like to post of mine. So I don't care if I posted a picture of my dog, George, or if I posted a picture of me drinking coffee, or if I posted that I was sitting by the lake, or if it was actually, a video or a photo of me working out. I don't care what the post is about. It is a jumping off point for a conversation. And you guys, like, you have to reach out. You can't just like let the likes on something. You can't wait for somebody to reach out to you because you put a post up about a challenge group. Like, you have to go out and talk to those people. So follow up with every single person who liked your post and start conversations with them. Now, if your post was about a challenge group, jump right in. Hey, saw you like the post about my upcoming challenge group. Would love to have you in there. What are your health and fitness goals? Easy as that. Like, you don't have to be weird. You just have to talk to people. Follow up with anyone on that list, right? So every single person. And then if you still have time, follow up with more people. Like, that's how I grew this business quickly, was I didn't just do 5. That was like my minimum, okay? Post 3 to 5 times a day to social media. So on Facebook, I say post like tops like 3 times. On Instagram, you can post like 5 times. If you're doing Instagram stories, you guys, you can get away with doing like quite a bit of those throughout the day. I mean, I don't think you should do like 30 frames or anything like that. Like, if you've ever seen Shalene, like, she did a tour of her gym the other day, and even I was like swiping through like, dude, this is way too much. You don't want to like be like that person that people had like, okay, enough. You want to be the person where they're like, oh, I kind of want to know a little bit more, right? So post Facebook, post Instagram, post your Instagram stories. That's it. Those are the vitals, like every single day of what you need to do, aside from like, the vitals outside of this, like doing your workout, drinking your shake, read a book. So, all right, I want to talk about this for a second. So there's no lack of resources. There's only a lack of resourcefulness. So you could get started in this business and have no coach, and you can still succeed if you really have a goal and you really want to achieve it, right? So you can't blame your coach for you not doing well. You can only blame yourself. And I feel like so many people come into this business with an employee mindset, and that's because you've been an employee for so long. You're used to somebody telling you what to do and managing you, right? But in this business, nobody does that. Like, it's your job to take care of your own business. It's like as if you owned like a coffee shop, right? If you didn't go there and open the door with the key every morning and let your employees in, like, nobody would get coffee and you wouldn't make any money. Just like if you're not going and, putting posts up on your social media and reaching out to people, that's not going to happen. And it's okay if you don't know everything to start with. In fact, it's better that you just start and you just run with it. Like, I will tell you, Kelsey's on this call. She's a new coach of mine, and she knows really nothing about this business. And she put her first post up tonight, and it's getting like hundreds of likes and a buttload of comments. And she's like, what do I do now? I'm like, don't worry about it till after the call. And like, you just have to be okay with that, right? Like, you have to be okay with being a little overwhelmed, not really knowing everything at first, because you'll figure it out as you go. But you also can be your greatest resource by going and looking, right? There's so many coaches who've come before you. There's the back office. So like, you can sign into teambeachbody.com and go to your coach online office, and you can check out the first 30 training. You can check out different videos that we have in there. You can go to our team page and you can look in the files section. You can go to my YouTube channel. You can look at all of the past like trainings that we've done and posted there. Every Monday night we have a call, and the post gets put up as a recording in that YouTube. You can go to your coach. Like, you can go and find the resources you need. Guys, even FAQs in Team Beachbody, you can Google them and they pop up in Google. Like, you don't even have to go to Team Beachbody to find them. You can be like, bonus pool for blah, 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 FAQ Team Beachbody, and it'll pop up and tell you what the quarter bonuses are. It's like crazy. So be your own best friend. You know, it's not the person who has the most resources that's successful. It's the people with the most resourcefulness. So be resourceful within your own business. If you need information, go get it. Ask for it. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. Guess what? Chris probably like was so annoyed with hearing from me in the beginning, because I talked to him like all day, every day for like months. I think I probably talked to him way more than I talked to Ryan for like the first like 6 months of this business. Seriously. Like lunch breaks on my way home. But it was because I was working my business. So I always had questions, like new things coming up. And I was hungry to get that information so I could grow my business. So apply the law of duplication and think like there is, I can't read it because I can't read what I said. Think like there is no box, I guess is what I'm going to write, what I said there. Is that what it said? Can you guys see it? Think like there's no box. So this business is about duplication, but you can also think outside the box and be like your own self. You might create a system that is better than any system that's come before you, right? So like, if your coach and your team has some systems in place, go ahead and use them. Like, that's like your path, right? But like, if you think of something and you want to try it, go for it. It's your own business. Try it and fail. That is how you figure things out. Engage the law of positive attitude. So guys, this is a big one. Part of the reason this business worked really well for me is because I believed it would. I had Georgie. I had 100% belief in this business, and I had 100% belief in myself that I could help other people and that I could do this. Part of that belief came from the fact that I had seen that Chris was able to do it, and I saw that other coaches had done it too, and I was like, well, they're not better than me. Like, if they could do it, I can do it. So like, keep that in mind. If you guys are saying to yourself, I can't do this, you are 100% right. If you are saying, I attract awesome effing people into my life and I'm going to blow this thing up, then you're right. You absolutely will. And start with what you have to get the job done. Like I said, you don't have to know everything. You just have to move. All right. There's two things that typically, before I get into like the actual pieces of like what to do, there's two things that typically hold you back within this business. Number one is fear. Number one thing that I hear from people is fear. Fear of what other people think of them, fear of failing, fear of succeeding, fear of saying the wrong thing, but mostly it's fear of judgment from other people. It's fear of what other people think, and fear of rejection. That's a big one too. Like, oh my God, what if you get a no? Who cares? Move on and talk to somebody else. Like, it doesn't make or break you. Like, other people's opinions do not pay your bills, period. They just don't. So who cares? Are you going to let one person's no keep you from having the life that you want, or the freedom that you want, or the health that you want, or the future for your family that you want? No. So keep that in mind. Self-evaluation time. Are you making excuses? Do you really want the answers to things, or do you want excuses? Are you making up excuses in your mind as to why you're not succeeding in this business? Are you making it more complicated than it needs to be? Because at its base, this business is drink a shake, do a workout, read a book, and invite people. Literally, that's it. Like, I could literally scrap this whole thing and just tell you to go do that, and you can be successful in this business. Do you give yourself an excuse not to start? Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'll start on Monday. That's a better day to start. crazy, but the same excuses or the same way you treat your workouts actually trickles down into the same way that you treat your business. So if you're someone who isn't sticking to doing your workouts to a schedule, to a T, you're probably somebody who's not going to be consistent within your business either. The two go hand in hand. What else is there? Are you taking initiative and doing things without prompts? Are you waiting for somebody else to tell you what to do, or are you trying things and learning things on your own? Are you doing the work that is equal to the amount of success that you want? You guys, you literally are sitting on a 7-figure business, but some of you are working your business like an hour a week. And I don't care who you are. If you're working your business an hour a week, there's no way you're going to create that income. So if you're telling yourself that you want freedom and you're telling yourself that you want this big income and you want to be out of debt and you want to buy this house and you want to travel and you want to do all of this, but every night TV comes first and going to bed early comes first, you're not putting in the work that it takes to get there, and you won't get it. So are you focusing on selling or sharing? That's the last part there. So if you are doing these things, like if you're doing everything that you need to do in this business and it's not going well, typically it's either the way you're posting or the way you're talking to people. So if you're coming off salesy, if you're posting things like pictures, like I shared, like that slide that I shared that had all those images from corporate, if you're sharing that shit on your social media, you are not going to get likes. People are immediately going to be like, she is trying to sell me something. But if you're sharing you, and you're sharing your journey and your story and everything within like your fears, your pain points, your struggles, and you're using that as inspiration for other people, they're going to look at you and they're going to say, I see myself in her or him. If she can do it, I can do it, right? So don't sell. Selling does not work. And if you guys, I'm sorry, but Instagram's glorious right now because there's not a whole lot of marketers on there, if you've noticed that. But like Facebook all of a sudden is bombarded by like network marketers, and unfortunately they're like really bad network marketers, and it's put like a bad taste in people's mouths, and they're like, ugh, like somebody else trying to sell me something. So now you have to be a little bit more like, you have to be more authentic. Like before some people could get away with being kind of bad. Now you have to be you. Oh my God, you have to be you. You can't be creative. You just have to be you. That's how you succeed at this. All right, inviting. I already said invite 5 new people a day. So what does that look like? An invite does not mean that it's not one of those hey girl messages that I just told you about. It's not reaching out to somebody and saying, oh my God, you like my picture of George. Like, how are you? That's not an invite. An invite is literally physically asking somebody to a challenge group or to a coach sneak peek. So if you're posting about your fitness, you should always end that post with something that's inviting somebody to your challenge group. And you should put a date on it because that's going to give somebody more information, right? And then when they like it, you can reach out to them about the challenge group. Sometimes people may not have even realized that there was an invite at the end of that, and that's okay. It's still going to start that conversation and that jumping off point for that invite, right? So if you say, oh my God, you like my post, I'd love to have you in the group. And they're like, what group are you talking about? You'd be like, dude, you just like my post about my fitness. I run these online accountability groups. They're really super awesome. Have you ever considered joining one? Really? Like it's just that simple. And then they'll start talking to you about their health and fitness goals. Post 3 to 5 times a day. We already talked about that. Start 5 new combos a day. Those are relationship building ones. So I want you to do invites and I want you to do relationship building ones. Build value. So this is about your conversations, right? When you're talking to people, if you look at that conversation and you see that it's like mostly blue, like mostly you talking, that's wrong, right? You should be asking way more questions. Your conversations should focus on that person. You want to be interested, not interesting, right? Like the more you talk, the more you're going to start like selling yourself, right? You're selling them on what you're doing. And then you start talking about products, and then you start talking about sales, and you start talking about all this crap, right? And really, you should be asking them about them. How can you help them? That should be your major focus. And you guys, if your focus is on how you can help someone, no one is ever going to take your intentions poorly. No one is ever going to take you negatively. They're going to say, oh, she wants to help me. And it's going to come off that way because that's where your intention is. So ask them questions. Ask them what they struggle with. Ask them how long they've struggled with it. Ask them how their nutrition is. Ask them about what they've done for workouts in the past. Ask them if they have any injuries. Ask every single question that you can to get to know them so well that you know that you can help them, and you know the points where they struggle so that you can help them through those, okay? And then by the time that you ask them if they want a recommendation, they're going to say yes, because they've just spent all of that time talking to you and they know that you know what they need. And so you're going to get less objections up front if you spend more time digging deep and building value in that conversation. Because then when you go to recommend something to them, you can recommend something and say, like, I'm recommending this because of this, this, and that. And you can really address their needs. There's a book called Entrepreneur Roller Coaster. I highly recommend it if you haven't read it. But there's a realtor that he talks about in that book that is down in Miami, and he sells like far more, like millions and millions of dollars worth more real estate than his coworkers that are selling the same buildings. And when asked what his secret was, he said, well, I didn't sell $1 million condo today. I sold $1 million closet. And I didn't sell a $2 million condo today. I sold a $2 million parking spot, or I sold a $3 million view, because what he was doing was getting to know his clients so well that he was selling them on what they needed rather than what he just thought, right? So you want to make sure that you're building that value. It's going to help you be a better coach. It's going to help you give the right recommendations. It's going to help you coach them better when they're in your challenge groups. And it's going to help you get rid of those objections, which are probably what you guys are most fearful about anyways, right? Is getting the like, no thank yous. So handling objections, I'm going to talk about on the next page. Go to bed with an empty messenger. Guys, if you've been like talking to people all day and it's time to go to bed, and you look and you have like 3 or 4 messages in there from people who wrote you back, go ahead and write them back real quick. It just makes you feel better to go to bed with an empty messenger. And then when you wake up in the morning and you have messages from people, it's like you can start your business without like thinking too much about it. Like you have people to respond to, and that makes your business fun. All right, quicker success, do more than this. Right? There's an amazing book called The 10X Rule. If you go get that book, he's going to tell you that every goal that you set for yourself, you should make it bigger than you think, and you should do more work than you think to get there. Okay. All right. So what do you post about, right? Like you guys are like, that's great, Joan. You're telling me to post 3 to 5 times a day on social media, but what the hell do you want me to post? I know. I get that question all the time. And if you go in the files section of the team page, there is like a gigantic file in there that says like what to post about, because I know it's one of the biggest questions that I get. But here's a few things. So every day within this business, you should be reading personal development or listening to a podcast or putting something positive in your brain for 15 minutes. Guys, you can do this while you're driving in your car. That's what I did. I used to listen to PD every day on my way to work. Sometimes if I was doing some like stuff at work that didn't need a whole ton of brain power, I would just plug in my earphones and I would listen to something positive, whether it was like an old national wake-up call or a Gabby lecture or a book on audio, those sorts of things. So you can listen to your personal development that way. It's also something you can post about. I bet you learned something. I bet maybe you heard a quote or a sentence that inspired you. Talk about it on social media. Don't just share the quote. Say like what it meant to you. Say how it affected you, and talk about it a little bit, or talk about how you're reading a book. Like a lot of people don't even read anymore. Maybe it's like shocking to them that you're reading a book, and maybe they would like your opinion on books that I get messages all the time now from people, which is great because it starts relationship building conversations where they're like, hey, it seems like you read a lot. Like, do you have any books that like you would recommend for me? I'm thinking about, this type of book. And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, like here you go. So that's a great way to do it. Shakeology. If you're drinking it once a day, then you can talk about it. But I wouldn't just like, please guys, please, especially if you're a brand new coach, please do not post a picture of you with a Shakeology bottle like this. Just don't do it. Just don't. Put it in like a pretty jar with a straw. Put it like, make it pretty if you're going to have it in a picture. Make it a little bit more subtle. And then just don't say like drinking Shakeology or like whatever. Talk about what it is. Talk about why you love it. Is it convenient to drink in the morning? Do you love the taste of it? Did you just make an awesome flavor or recipe that's like amazing? Does it give you more energy? Are you sleeping better? Is your skin glowing? Are you like, what is it doing for you? Is your hair and nails growing faster? Like, what is Shakeology doing for you? Did you go to the doctors and they tested your cholesterol and your cholesterol is like, woo, that's freaking amazing because you've been drinking Shakeology? Is your blood pressure lower? Like, talk about what it is doing for you. Don't just post a picture of you in Shakeology and say, here I am drinking Shakeology. Workout, that's the easiest one, right? Throw up a sweaty selfie on social media, but don't just throw up a sweaty selfie. Talk about it. What was your workout? Was it hard? Was it easy? Did you do better than before? Did you lift heavier? Did you do more push-ups? Did you struggle through it, but you had this certain thought and that got you through it? Did you have to get pumped up for your workout? How did you do that? Did you drink Energize? Did you have to listen to music? Did you get new workout clothes and that made you feel like super excited about doing it? Like, cause it does me. Like I order stuff on Lorna Jane like nonstop. It's a problem. So what is it about your workout? Don't just share it. And then if you guys have been following me, you've noticed that every week I've been posting progress photos, right? One of the best ways to get somebody involved in your business or your challenge group is to show that you are proof the product works. Sticking to your workout to a T, drinking your Shakeology, and getting results shockingly attracts other people to your business. You are your own best business card. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to talk about that. Favorite parts of Beachbody coaching, whatever that might be. Maybe you're like, oh my God, I was on this awesome call tonight. Maybe it's that you've met new friends. Maybe it's that you had somebody congratulate you or you had something positive said about you and that hasn't happened in a while. Maybe it's that you made your first paycheck. Whatever it is, something about coaching that you want to share, go for it. Objections. You guys, I know that's like, why the hell would I post it about objections? Why wouldn't you? If you get a post, like if you get a message from somebody and they're like, I just don't have enough room in my apartment. Yeah, I've had like 5 people work out in my workout space before, and my living room is like 6 by 10. So that's an excuse. You can definitely, can you lay down? Can you lay down in one space in your apartment? Then you can work out. So that's what I say to people, but like, that's a common objection. So talk about it, right? Or like, I don't have a ton of equipment at home. Well, guess what? We have so many workouts that don't require any equipment at all. So put a post up about that. So take people's objections and talk about them. Don't talk about the person, but talk about the objection publicly. And that way you guys are actually eliminating objections before you even get them, because those people who are following you on social media, you're killing their objections before they even talk to you. Time, talk about it. Money, talk about it. A great post is talking about how Beachbody, just not even the coaching part. You can talk about how like the nutrition plan has saved you money, or drinking Shakeology has saved you money on getting coffee out, or whatever that is. You can talk about how you thought it was expensive at first, but what it saved you in health costs. You can talk about those things. So talk about objections. Lifestyle. So if you're not a full-time coach, that doesn't mean that you can't talk about the lifestyle of coaching and what that's done for you. It could be things like it's held you accountable and that's why you're doing your workouts. It could be things like you just had a coach brunch or dinner, or you get together, or you went to a super Saturday. Or it could be even about how you want your lifestyle to be and what Beachbody is doing to help you get there. So those are the things that you can talk about. I already talked a little bit about addressing struggles within like your workouts, but like you can talk about that as a post as well. Inspirational, motivational, that's kind of the same thing with what I was talking about with PD, but inspirational and motivational can really be talking about, you can talk about like somebody in your group that inspired you because they, pushed through their hard workout, or they've lost a pound, or whatever it is. Your nutrition, guys, share recipes on social media, but don't share the recipe. Share a really good picture of it and then ask people if they want the recipe. It's going to boost like the engagement on your post because everybody's going to like it. And then you can go ahead and reach out to them. Post your wins, whether it be physical, financial, getting through a comfort zone. Talk about your coaches getting through those. Talk about your challengers getting through those. All of this stuff is stuff that you guys can talk about. So I just eliminated your excuse of I can't figure out anything to talk about on social media, because that was like a buttload. All right. Handling objections. I told you I'd talk about this. Feel, felt, found. That's your best friend. I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way. But what I found was, you guys see how easy that is? Plus you're relating to them and you're listening to them. So like, for instance, the money excuse. I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way. What I found is actually staying true to the nutrition plan has saved me money on groceries and eating out. Or what I've found is that drinking Shakeology every single day has actually eliminated my caffeine habit and going to Starbucks, spending $6 a day on a latte. Or what I've found, whatever it is, you guys can figure it out because you're not going to make it up. You really are going to relate. I'm just saying word it that way. I don't know about that, but I do know. So guys, we're not pretending that we know everything about every product. We're not pretending that we know everything about every health or fitness thing out there. We're definitely not doctors. We definitely don't want to give like advice on like diseases and things of that nature. So you can always say things like, I don't know about that, but what I do know is, so for instance, people ask me all the time about breastfeeding and Shakeology. And I'll say, like, I don't know what your doctor would say, but here's what I do know. What I do know is that I've had a lot of people on my team use it, and their doctor even told them that they wished more people did, So like there's that sort of thing. Or I don't know about that product, but what I do know about Shakeology is that it's done X, Y, and Z for me. right? So you don't ever want to bad mouth anybody else's product. You don't ever want to talk poorly about their stuff. You don't want to pretend like you're an expert on their stuff. You want to just share what you do know about your own product. Okay. Now that I know there's a financial need, have you ever considered coaching? You guys, I had somebody just the other day tell me that they're in love with their Shakeology, but they're going to need to cancel it because of money. And I was like, dude, you're in the group. You're loving your workouts. You're loving Shakeology. You're doing everything that you need. Now that I know that there's a financial issue, have you ever considered coaching with me? And you can pose it as a part-time thing too. Like, not all people need to want to become full-time coaches. Like, there's people who just want to do something on the side that's fulfilling for them, or that's going to help them afford their Shakeology each month, right? So that's a really easy way to see if they'd be interested. Another thing, if they're giving you the money excuse, is just say, is it really just the money holding you back? Sometimes, you guys, sometimes it's not. Sometimes that was just the easiest excuse. Sometimes what I get back from that is like, well, I've just spent so much money on other things and I never followed through with it, right? So their real excuse is not the money. The real excuse is they don't believe that they're going to stick to it. So what I would answer with that is like, okay, so it comes with 100% money back guarantee. So you can do this for 30 days. So for instance, if they were doing the 21-day fix, they could do the entire 21-day fix program. They could drink every drop of Shakeology. And at the end of that, if they wanted to send it back, they could and get all their money back. I've never seen anybody do that. It's kind of a dick thing to do, excuse my mouth, but like, seriously. And so they really have nothing to lose. And so you can say that to them. And then you can encourage them and be the coach that you should be and say, listen, I'm going to put you in my group and I'm going to help you get to your goals. Like, I'm not just going to let you like sit there and hold that, Shakeology bag in your kitchen and not do anything. We're going to be in touch. I'm going to talk to you. You're going to be in the group. You're going to post. You're going to see other people doing it. You're going to get the motivation and accountability you need. Like, just trust me, I promise, that sort of thing. And when you have that conviction, then they will get that conviction. All right. Time, money, stress. Those are your top ones. Those are your top things that you're going to get. And I'm telling you, you only get those objections really when you haven't done a good enough job digging deep into the conversation. I like to eat food. I don't do shakes. I like to eat food too. That's why I got myself into a problem. Like, I literally have said that to people before and they start laughing, which is my intention. I just want to break the ice and make it funny. But I say, but no, in all reality, I am such a foodie and I totally believe in whole nutrition and eating your food. But what I've found is that I just do this as a shake, as a snack once a day, either pre or post workout. It really helps me with my energy and refueling my body. And it's giving me those dense nutrients that I can't get through other things. I haven't been sick in over 4 years. I'm going to relate to them and talk to them that way. I already drink a protein shake, or do I have to do the shakes? You can use the feel felt found on that one. I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way. I never was a shake person before, but since I've been drinking them, X, Y, and Z. Or just give it a try. Here's what it could do for you. Or you could say 30-day money back guarantee. Or you can say, well, and reiterate their goals. You told me your goal was X, Y, and Z, and I'm telling you that this is how you're going to get there. How important is it to you? So those are other things that you can say. And then the last thing that I would say about that too is Shakeology is not just a protein shake. It is a dense superfood nutrition shake, and it doesn't work as just a protein shake. It actually does so many other different things for your body. And if you guys are curious about that, there was a call that Isabel did last week for us that goes over a lot of that. But also on our Team Project Fearless website, I have an entire section about Shakeology that you can go do some research on too. I'm paleo, great, so am I. I do CrossFit. We have successful CrossFit coaches in this business. We also have people on our team who've done CrossFit and actually improved their, records and whatnot by doing Beachbody programs. So you can talk to them about that. I don't have enough space. I already talked about that one. I like to work out outside. Great. With Beachbody On Demand, you can work out wherever you want. Sometimes I work out on a dock down by my lake. You can take it anywhere with you. It's amazing for people who are traveling. You can do it in your hotel room or in the hotel, whatever. You can bring it anywhere with Beachbody On Demand. You can go to a gym. I've tried Shakeology. It hurt my stomach. So number one question I ask there is if they have an allergy to dairy, because the regular Shakeology does have whey in it, and that can be a big problem. Now, I know it's not made in a gluten-free facility, but you guys, we have several people on this team who have celiac, so legit gluten allergy, not just sensitivity, and Shakeology they drink every single day, and it's helped them. So I'm very positive within that. My mom is actually celiac, and she drinks it, that they'll be okay with it too. Also nut allergies. It is made in a facility that does have nuts. So one thing that you could do is have them do daily sunshine instead, or you could have them do maybe the performance line instead if they do have some allergy that's like really life-threatening and they don't want to risk it. But typically if somebody says their stomach hurt, it's because it's a lot of nutrients at once and their body isn't used to it. So tell them just to do a third at first, a third of a scoop, and try it for a couple days, and then move it up to a half, and then keep going from there. But typically it's the dairy thing, and then they don't know that we have vegan Shakeology. All right. Be proof the product works. You guys, I just said to you like a few slides back that like it's crazy that your business and you're your own business card, but also that your business does better when you're actually sticking to your workouts and doing your workouts. It's not just that you look better, you mentally shift and everything in your life lifts. It all lifts together. So like when you're doing well in your business, probably doing well in your workouts. When you're not doing your workouts, your business is probably not doing well either. I suggest not doing a hybrid. I know that on Beachbody On Demand, we have the challenge du jour, but it's really hard to like turn around and say to somebody like, oh, this is the exact workout I did and you should do it too, when you were just winging it every day, right? But if you're following a program to a T, you can be like, yeah, I followed this to a T. I followed this nutrition plan to a T. I did Shakeology every day. This is exactly what I did. If you want the results I have, follow this, okay? Also, it gives you something to talk about. Also, when you share those before and after pictures, you get tons of love. And follow it to a T, guys. You're coaches. You got in this business for a reason. You got into a challenge group for a reason. It's because you wanted to get those results. So follow the plan and get the results. So many people since I've been in this test group for 80 Day Obsession, not just like messaging me directly, but even on my Facebook page are like, oh my God, I can't wait for this program to come out. Like, oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait. And I'm telling you that it's the same people who have access to all the programs right now that I do as well that aren't doing them. And I'm like, what the hell is going to change for you just because this new program came out? It's not the program. It's that I'm doing it. I actually press play and do my workout and push hard. I actually have been following the nutrition plan to a T. I haven't been drinking for almost 90 days. I have been eating on plan for 90 days. I've been drinking my Shakeology and doing the performance line every single day for 90 days. That's why I have the results I do. Guess what? If you did that with Hammer and Chisel or Insanity Max 30 or 21 Day Fix or whatever, you'd have freaking results too. You don't have to wait for this program to come out. You can start now. So you can say that to people, maybe not quite as mean as I just did. Alrighty. Okay, last but not least, when someone comes to your profile, do they know that you're doing a workout? Do they know that you're on your journey? Do they know that you run groups and you can help other people? Do they know that you're getting results? Are you getting results? Are you following something? And do they know that you're someone who actually can help them too? Your post should say that to them. Personal development, I've talked to you guys about a bunch tonight, but you have to change before you can help anyone else. When you become better, your team becomes better. I love this quote. You should sit in meditation for 20 minutes every day unless you're too busy. Then you should sit in it for an hour. It's so true. Gabby Bernstein always said, do you have, if you say that you don't have time, you say you don't have time to meditate, but do you have time to feel like shit? And it's true. Like you have to put yourself first, you guys. And I know that sounds selfish, but it's clearly the most unselfish thing that you can do. When you start taking care of yourself first, that means mind, body, and soul. When you start doing that, you can pour out onto other people, but you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you are sitting there and you are just giving to everybody else all the time and putting yourself on the back burner, I am giving you permission right now to stop. I'm giving you permission to stop, to start putting yourself first. And one of the best ways that you can do that is through prayer, through meditation, through reading and listening to positive things, through working out and doing all of that stuff. But at least 15 to 20 minutes a day, guys, of pumping positive stuff in your brain. If you think of all the negative crap that goes in your head all day long between the news and your Facebook news feed of people like sharing things about the news or politics or like, crazy things about animals being hurt and all of that crap, you need that. You need positive stuff put back into your brain. So I'm not going to even go over the excuses. You know the excuses. All right. So create a to-do list and stick with it. Guys, I use Teamsy to organize things. It's free for 30 days. You can try it out if you want to. There's also Streak. You can use notebook and pen. A notebook is what I used for the first 3 years of my business. For the first 3.5 years of my business, that's how I ran my business. I wrote down people's names, wrote down people's names I needed to follow up with, wrote down people's names I was reaching out to. I didn't do anything fancy. It was super duper like old school. And you can do it too. Google Calendar or iCal or like a planner to like write down team calls or calls with like, your coaches and things like that. Block out a time for fun. Seriously, block out a time for fun. There's so many coaches who get started in this business and they just burn themselves right out because it's all they do all the time. Or they're like, oh my God, my husband's pissed at me because I'm always on my phone and I'm always like doing this and I'm never like spending time with them. So make sure that you block out time for that sort of stuff. Like block out dinner time or block out time to like go outside and play with the kids or to go bring the dog for a walk or to go shop or to do whatever you want. Block out time to unplug from social media, from computers, from having a screen in your face. Make sure you schedule those times too and schedule your power hour. And so my tips for your power hour, stay the hell out of the news feed. It's just going to suck all of your time. You get stuck there and you start liking things and commenting things. And before you know it, 25 minutes have gone by and you haven't reached out to anyone. Instead, go to your friends list. Go to your friends list and then open up 5 windows of those friends or 5 messengers, like right at the bottom of your chat, and just message them there. Or go over to Instagram and literally do the same thing. Go look at 5 of your followers and then just go throw them all a direct message, right? So that, and I would do that first. Eat that frog. Do the thing that you want to do the least first. And then it's out of the way and the rest is like following up with people. And that's easy because you've already talked to them and like posting to social and all of that stuff. That stuff becomes fun, right? Blast music while you're doing it. Or like light a candle or do something that makes you feel good while you're doing this business. Like sometimes I'll throw on episodes of How I Met Your Mother because I don't need to pay attention to it because I know every single word of every single episode. So like I can work my business and then I'll hear something funny and giggle and continue working my business. So make it fun for yourself and then set a 50-minute timer. I know that's not a full hour, but Brendan Burchard says that you cannot concentrate or do anything to your best in more than 50 minutes. So if it's been 50 minutes, get up, dance around for 10 minutes, do whatever you want to do, go do some headstands, handstands, play with your dog, like make a funny Instagram video, go do something and then come back and do more if you want to do more, but 50-minute increments. Okay. Hit success. I'm not even going to talk about this right now because I don't want to go too long. I'm just going to do this. What I did for 6 months of my business. Those last 2 slides, I think. Reached out to as many people as I possibly could. I did. That's what I did, you guys. I did it on lunch breaks. I did it at night. I did it before work. And I promised myself that if I had the busiest day on the face of the planet, that I would at least do 5 people before I went to bed. And the worst thing that could happen is they didn't answer me back because it was late at night. And then I at least had conversations started for the morning when they had responded to me. Started my own training groups. So this is something, if you are like brand new, like you started today, maybe you're not starting your own training group right now. But in a month, maybe you start your own Coach Basics group for somebody and you train your own coaches. I reached out to my coach for help. I already talked about that. I listened and watched other leaders and implemented things in my own business. So I became resourceful and I did those things. I never missed a team call. I'm preaching to the choir right now because you guys are on a team call, but I still have never missed a team call. I just had my 4-year anniversary of being a coach, like literally a working coach. So, I think the 2 times I missed it, I was on a cruise. I made Success Club a non-negotiable. So I've made Success Club every single month that I have been a coach. And I know I didn't really get into that, but it just basically means I've helped at least 3 people a month get started on their health and fitness journey. I meditated every day. I meditated every night. I prayed every night. I did specific meditations, Ek Onkar. I know it says one, it should say Ong. Ek Onkar, which is one. And that meditation, you guys can go look it up. It's the only meditation that comes with a warning because what you think about while you do it will come to fruition. I went elite my first year and that's what I used to think about every single time. So I guess it works. Also, I did Gabby's white light meditation. You can download some of her lead meditations. For people who've never done a meditation, I do recommend a lead meditation because it's going to be less likely that you go off into like some area and just like can't get back or you can't like quiet your thoughts. It'll help you stay on track. And then she has a book called Add More Ing to Your Life. And I used to read that all the time, but specifically chapter 10, which is the knowing equation before I went to bed. I set goals. I set big goals and I trusted that with the right actions that I would get there. I searched for better ways of doing things and wasn't afraid to try something new. I ran team calls even as an animal coach because if I had something that I did that worked, I felt like I could help somebody else by sharing it. I never, ever, ever, ever dropped rank from diamond, ever. Still haven't. Check your downline and you can ask your coach how to do that. We've got videos on YouTube how to do that. You can look in your back office on how to do that. I worked at 10x levels. I worked when I wanted to, and I worked when I really didn't want to. That's a big one, you guys. But every single time that I would work this business, when at first I'd come home from work and be like, oh my God, I'm too tired, I would talk to somebody And all of a sudden, like, it would reignite my fire because I would be helping somebody and that would give me energy. Whether it be helping one of my coaches with their business or helping somebody get started on their journey. What else? I sacrificed things. I sacrificed sleep, happy hours, TV, weekend ski trips where I knew that I was going to be far away from Wi-Fi. Those were things that I, in the beginning, was okay sacrificing because I knew it was going to be short-term for long-term gain. I listened to and read tons of PD. I did my workouts. I drank my shake. I posted to social several times a day, and it was worth it. So you guys, I just told you all of those things to do. And then what did I do to get to leaving my job within 6 months? I did those things. That's what I did. And what I do every day now, same thing. Same thing. I respond to my messages on social, start new messages. You guys, I put donuts there because those are kind of like cold invites. Those are like just like never talked to the person before. And I'll just be like, yo, I know we've never really talked, but I have this awesome group. Any health and fitness goals? Signed tons of people that way, by the way. Friends, friend 5 to 10 new people on Facebook, follow 10 to 20 new people on Instagram. I check into my challenge groups, post social again, check in with my coaches. I make Success Club. I work out. I drink a shake. I read a book. That's it. Nothing changed from the beginning till now. So you're earning more money and I have more time, right? But I'm doing the same amount of work. And that's how this business works. And so I just liked this quote. You can't have $1 million dream with minimum wage work ethic. And I liked that quote because that is what this is about. You don't just get, to leave your job by like being like, oh, I've got this awesome side gig and working it like an hour a day. I'm not going to lie to you. You won't get that. You can make hobby money working your business an hour a day. But to get to where I did, I worked at 10x levels. I worked my ass off. I had a 50-hour a week job and I was putting in 20 to 30 hours a week in this business at the same time to be able to leave my job in 6 months. But then guess what? I gave myself a 20 to 30-hour job a week and left my other job. So it's like part-time for more money. Does that make sense? All right. I'm going to stop sharing. That was a little longer than I had anticipated. Any questions before we jump off? I wasn't able to look at the chat. All right. No questions? Cool. I'm going to go ahead and throw the recording up. Thank you guys for being on here. I know it was longer than usual, but hopefully it was helpful.